Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Q&A, Renegotiating Your Future. Ian Marsh here. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today is arguably the greatest skill that anyone as a business consultant, anyone as a business owner could generate and have for themselves and develop. What is that skill? It is called lead generation. Okay, so in business, and I've learned this over many, many years, there's no real argument against it. The two most important skills in any business initially are sales and marketing. So what I'm going to be doing today is I want to talk to you all about how we're going to create an effective lead generation system. Now, I want you to think about this. If you've got the skills to generate qualified leads at will, how many people would want your services? Well, I'm here to tell you that a fair few would want to make use of those talents that you've developed. And that's what I'm going to be covering off on today. And the good news is that it's not that hard to create an effective lead generation system. You just need to keep your eye on the prize, ladies and gentlemen. And I can tell you, it can be a very frustrating journey to nail this sucker. But when you understand what I'm about to share with you today, you're going to get to the finishing line. I've made sure of it. So with that being said, let's hook into this, shall we? You can see my amazing PowerPoint slides again. And Bob's your uncle. Okay, maybe it's Bob. So, all right, guys, look, there really are just 3 simple steps to building your own lead generation system. So I'm going to cover off on those 3 steps with you today. What I'm also going to do, especially arguably, is reveal the biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to build their lead generation systems so that you don't fall into this trap. I'm going to share some hard truths with you, ladies and gentlemen. So stay with me till the end because it's going to be a big payoff for you. So this is going to help you whether you're in the consulting industry, you're thinking of becoming a consultant, you're a business owner, anyone that really wants to generate leads. That's what I've created this training for, and I'll make sure that it does help you. But also you're going to learn why a lot of people struggle with this and a simple way for you to fix it. One simple thing you can do to fix it. Now, before we hook into this, what I want to do is go through this speed wealth formula first so that you've got an understanding of, I guess, the strategy around what we're doing. Rather than the tactics of doing this and this and this, I want you to understand the overall strategy because that's where the money is. And I want to take you back to when I was starting to learn how to build successful companies. And so I'll take you way back to around the year 2000 was when I started learning these skills myself. And as most people in business do, I was out there, I was an electrician, trying to work out how to make $1, not very successful at it. And I was making around about 50K a year for myself. It's not a lot of money, okay? Now, what happened was I got a mentor and they started teaching me certain skills about sales and marketing. And I started to realize what skills actually made me the money and what skills were costing me money. So if that makes sense to you, let me take you now through this flow chart, because when I understood where I should be spending my time and what I actually should be doing as a business owner, I went from making $50,000 to having an 8-figure company. So, and all of that within about 3 years, not too shabby. So that's the only bit of bragging you're going to get from me today. So have a look at this. I want you to see here the skill. All right. So what I'm talking about here is work out what you need and what you want and what skills that you need to make that happen. Okay. And when you determine what those skills are, let's just say it is Facebook marketing. You want to master Facebook marketing. Well, if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, you want to master Facebook marketing, then you say, all right, I'm going to start to get an idea of this. And you maybe buy a course on it. You start to learn some basics on this skill set. Now, some of us have got an affinity for Facebook marketing, and some of us try for years and still don't get it. You know, you don't get the idea of the analytics and testing 30 different ads to get the right one, etc., etc. It is not in your DNA, and that's okay. So if you have a look here, an affinity, do you have an affinity for it? Yes or no? Well, if you don't have an affinity for it, okay, that's cool. And if you do have an affinity of it, you need to ask yourself, is this the best use of my time? So let's just say it wasn't Facebook marketing that you were trying to develop the skills for. Maybe it was graphic design. And when you're in your business, you could be making hundreds of dollars per hour in your business, relatively speaking. And you could get graphic design done for $20 an hour. Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to be doing graphic design. Okay, so if that's the case, is this the best use of my time? Yes or no? Well, if it's no, you delegate. Does that make sense? Pretty simple. And again, if you are working on trying to develop Facebook skills, well, Facebook skills are a very good use of your time. Social media, when you understand it, it is a very good use of your time. So again, if it's a good use of your time, well, keep honing and developing and mastering those skills. That's as simple as it is. But if you're trying to learn, and again, I'm just using Facebook marketing as an example, if you're trying to get it, it's frustrating the hell out of you. It doesn't make sense. You've probably blown, with a lot of my clients, and they come to me, they've blown 20 or 30K sometimes trying to work it out. So when you've gotten to that point, but you don't have you just don't get it, just get an overview of what needs to be done. And this is very important, okay? So just so you don't get anyone pulling the wool over your eyes when you need to get a project completed, just have a basic understanding of what's required. And when you get that basic understanding, find a team person, someone on your team, and delegate that project to them. Now, when you do that, I call that the speed wealth formula. Because again, if you're wasting months and even years sometimes trying to work out this certain component in your business, but you stubbornly say, no, I'm not going to pay anyone else to get that done, well, it's costing you an absolute fortune. Because if you did have a thriving lead generation system happening for you cost effectively, think of the money that you're making, okay? So that's the speed wealth formula. And I want you to remember that as we go through the rest of these steps, okay? So there's really 3 simple steps to achieving a lead generation system. Number 1 is you have to get attention. Number 2, you then capture the details of your prospects. And number 3 is follow-up, okay? Might sound simple. I'm going to speak to each of these individually and show you why they're very, very important. Because the bottom line is, for you to make money, then you must have a reliable, predictable, affordable lead generation system. Because if you don't, you got no leads, then you got no customers. You've got no customers, then you got no money. And that's not very chummy. So let's talk about grabbing attention. And again, I'm giving you an overview here, the big picture, the strategy of what needs to get done, not the minutia of what needs to get done, because that quite often slows you down from the success that you deserve, okay? So you want to grab their attention. You could use social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. God knows how many there are out there, okay? But once you learn one social media platform, it's very, very similar for many, many others, okay? So grabbing their attention, you might choose social media to grab their attention. You might choose direct mail, which, by the way, I love. I still say it's fantastic. Or you might even use billboards, okay? So I thought that was funny. Anyone else thinks it's funny, leave a comment. But you must grab their attention in some way, shape, or form. That's step one of you having an effective lead generation system. So once you've grabbed their attention, here's some of the mistakes that are made. You're trying to do all of the media at once. So you go, oh, well, I heard this social media is great. I'm going to do Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. I'm going to put all these posts up and bang, bang, bang. And you're so busy trying to do everything that you end up doing nothing. So work out your one primary platform, whatever it is. Could be LinkedIn, could be Instagram, could be Facebook, whatever it is, focus on one. Could be YouTube, okay? They're all great. But when you do that, get really good at that one platform first so you don't diffuse your focus and your attention. Get that one thing nailed, okay? The other big mistake people make is they try to get the media to do too much for them, okay? So what I mean by that is a lot of people try to sell too much from their ads and from their messages that they're putting out there, okay? So this is an example of a swimming pool, and we call it sell off the page, so to speak. So you put a big ad in, you have a price there, you say, buy my swimming pool, it's only $24,350. Okay, well, you may get a couple of leads because always there's about 3% of people that are ready to just buy now, okay? So you need to understand that. You might get a couple of leads from it. However, being strategic, you're far better off having an ad like this where it says, and don't worry too much about the graphics on here, but look at the copy. Attention swimming pool buyers. Do not buy a swimming pool until you read this valuable consumer awareness guide. It could save you thousands. So anyone that's in the market, whether right now or in a year's time, and they want to buy a swimming pool, they may just like to get this information kit that tells you all about swimming pools, okay, and all of the traps. So the title on this one, we did this for a client a long time ago, the official swimming pool buyer's guide, how to confidently plan your new swimming pool and avoid the 7 common big costly mistakes that many pool builders don't want you to know about, okay? So if people request that information kit, you've captured their details, okay? I'm about to speak to that now. But here's the thing. You're going to get a far better return on investment when you do that. Now, I'm going to show you a dramatic demonstration of this in one memento. So the first way, when you're doing your ad and you're selling off the page, you might get 2 or 3 leads. But if you offer information, okay, you may get 20 or 30 leads or even more. You could get 50. So ensure that you're not trying to get your ads to do too much for you. You just want to use them as baby steps to get to the next action you want them to take, okay? So for small priced things, okay, so anything under sort of $200, it's okay, okay? But when you get to high price things, so anything at $500 and above, you want to make sure you baby step them. I hope that's making sense. So here's the action plan. Number 1, learn to master one media at a time, whatever it is, okay? And if you don't have an affinity with mastering that skill, then find an expert to do it for you. Remember the speed wealth formula, okay? So now the next thing, okay, this is the second step, is capturing their details. I want you to remember, and you should write this down, you confuse them, you lose them. Now, a lot of you watching this probably have a website, you probably paid a lot of money for it, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to show you mine, and I'm going to show you a simple fact. So what happens is when you have a website, there's a lot of information on a traditional website. when you have a landing page, it's very clear and very obvious on the action you want them to take. So let me show you what I mean. So the traditional website, okay, here's my business consulting website. And, you know, I spent about $10,000 pulling this together. I had great copywriters doing the copy, yada, 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 lots of information, fancy infographic, even offering a gift, lots of testimonials, get a copy of my book, yada, 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 yada. What we believe in. I've got a case study showing a turnaround of how we turned a business around. I've got a business clarity quiz. I've got my blog, you name it, all of it in there. Okay, pretty fancy-pantsy, heap of information. And, you know, the investment for me was around about, I think it was about $8,000, this one, okay? So that's the traditional website that most of you probably have. Now I want to show you this website. Now, this is for the other half of my business. So if you're not aware, I do help people become business consultants and show them how to create a successful practice for themselves. And I drive them to this page. Now, on this page, they have one action, and that action is register my spot now. Whereas when you've got them on your main site, they've got lots of things that they can do. And so, you know, you confuse them, you lose them. And here's the thing. With this page, okay, that you give them lots of reasons why not to make a time to book with you, okay? And it converts at about, the industry average is about 1.5% that these traditional websites convert at. However, this site converts at 21%. So I don't know. What would you prefer, ladies and gentlemen? Having a traditional website converting at 1 or 2%, or having a landing page where it's a squeeze page, whatever you want to refer to it as, where you're getting a conversion of, say, 20% plus. And by the way, some of my pages get 30%, you know. So when you like 20 times the result, well, I want you to remember, you want to capture their details. You don't want to confuse them. They're looking for a certain thing. So make sure you are providing them, when you do your ad or you've grabbed their attention, get them straight to that information that you grabbed their attention on, okay? And then instantly you're going to improve your results by 20%. So bang, bang, bang. Now, I'm not saying don't have a website, because they do then, once they check you out, if they like you, a lot of them will go to your main website and find out lots of other things about you. So action plan. I recommend getting ClickFunnels. It is the best tool. I have made so much money. I know Russell Brunson quite well, and he's an amazing guy, and his product is an amazing product. So that's my secret weapon to get an edge, is ClickFunnels. I've put a link for a case study on Facebook there. I put it up about an hour ago. So if you have a look for that case study, and I'll put the link back into comments after I do this training, I'd urge you to check it out, because it really is a secret weapon, and you'll be amazed at what it can do for you. The second thing, work out if you can do it yourself, okay? If you have an affinity for it, then do it. Apply the Speed Wealth formula. Or alternatively, find an expert, okay? The Speed Wealth strategy. So if you've got an affinity for it and it's the best use of your time, by all means, hone those skills and utilize them. However, if you can make a lot more money doing whatever you do, then do it. Okay. I hope that makes sense. About all I got to say on the capture details. Now I want to talk about the follow-up. Now, this is, if you're thinking of becoming a business consultant, okay, or if you are a business consultant, and yes, if you are a business owner, this is what I call the consultant's dream, because at least 80% of the clients that I work with have the poorest, crappiest follow-up system in fact, non-existent mostly, that you could ever imagine. They see someone, you want it, nah, okay, that's it. Okay, they say, let me think about it, and then you never follow them up to say, can you think about it? Let me show you a couple of stats here, okay? So this was a massive research done probably around about 9 years ago now. So it's actually even higher contacts that you need. What it's showing you is the amount of touches or the amount of contacts before someone's willing to make a buying decision. And you can see here at contact 1, when a consultant's working with you, 50% of people give up at contact 1, okay? Contact 2, 65% of people give up. Contact 3, 80% of people have given up. And at contact 4, this is the point where people are only just starting to think about getting serious about buying from you. But 90%, 89.8% of consultants have given up on you taking up this product or service. So all you need to do is contact your prospects at least 4 to 5 times, and you've beaten 90% of your competition, okay? So you can do this automatically. And again, ClickFunnels does this for you really, really well. But I want you to understand it takes 13 touches before people really start to make a buying decision, okay? So how many times are you touching your prospects? Now, don't go getting arrested on me, okay? But I'm telling you now, you must touch your prospects multiple times in multiple ways. And don't be a pest. You want to be a welcome guest. So touch them in interesting ways. Send them helpful information. Put in a phone call. Send an SMS. You know, just use variety. Give them gifts, and you're going to be amazed at what happens. So the reason this is a consultant's dream, you know, even if you, and this is one of the things I teach my consultants when I first start working with them. First thing, look at their follow-up system. And when they don't have one, all we've got to do is put a systemized follow-up system in place. And many times we double the conversions in a business by doing this one thing. Pretty crazy, right? So when you enter my system, okay, you'll get 23 emails in 30 days, okay? And each person that I can manage to get the phone number from is called. Yes, we get on the phone and say, hello, because we want to make sure that we're optimizing the money we're investing in all these expensive leads, okay? So now, this is probably the most important part. What I'm going to talk to you about now is probably the most important part of this training. And that is why most people don't manage to create an effective, reliable, predictable, affordable lead generation system, okay? So we all talked about the 3 steps. You got attention, capture the details using a landing page, not a website, and follow up. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, I've lost my screen here. Let me bring it back up. Is that it? Where did you go? I lost my control. And there it is. I got you now. Okay, so here are the things. You got the 3 steps. Grab their attention, capture their details using a landing page, and having a great follow-up system. But here's what people do, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this. So they say, all right, I'm going to start doing ads. I might even do it myself. I'll start learning this Facebook or this YouTube, and I'll start investing money there. And they find that their ads aren't working. They get confused. They find they don't have the time to muck around with it. They just get so frustrated with it. Oh, this bloody stuff doesn't work. So they fail to test and measure. And as a result, they give up. Okay, they give up on the ads. They go, this social media sucks. And they go, next. Or next thing, okay, so maybe you get your ads working and you're driving traffic because you've got an attention and you get them to your landing page. But then the same thing happens. So you get the traffic there, but people aren't opting in. People aren't converting. You don't know why. You don't know how to split test. You get frustrated. You've got no time. And you fail to test and measure. Okay. Then you might even get past the landing page to the follow-up. And so you've spent all this money on ads. you've got your landing page working, it's opting in, and you get to the follow-up and you find out, man, why aren't people booking appointments? Or when they do, they're not turning up. And the leads don't convert, so I'm not getting the right type of leads. Again, they give up and they don't test and measure. Test and measure. If you are working with me, if you become a client of mine or you are a client of mine and they ask what I should do, you'll get frustrated because many times I'll say, oh, why don't we test and measure? Okay, because look, here's the thing. Much as I'd love to say I've got the answers to life, the universe and everything, sadly, I don't. I wish I did. And what I do, the way that I get results and the way that any decent marketer gets results is they test and measure. So we might do 20 or 30 or 40 ads to find a winner. And we might test those ads against all these different audiences. Now, me, I know how to do it. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I'm pretty good at it. Okay. So, but I'd much rather be doing this, teaching, presenting, consulting. That's where I spend a lot of my time. And because I am good at Facebook, I do a lot of my own Facebook, but where I can, I delegate what I can. Okay. And I urge you guys, maybe might be wise to think of a similar thing. So here's 2 rules for you. Never give up. And remember, when you get frustrated, if you hit a brick wall, there's always a mentor for that. So what I learned when I got my first mentor was when all else fails, pay once, cry once, okay? Because then you're going to get the result that you're after, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, I'll do a quick recap on this for you. Remember, determine what skills that you need to develop. And if you've got an affinity for them, great, master those skills. But if you don't, delegate those tasks as quickly as you can to someone else. Get your prospects' attention, however it is, direct mail, social media, billboards, TV, radio. You must grab their attention in some way, shape, or form. Capture their details with a very clear, simple, and I always say ugly sells, believe it or not. Look at me. So I say a very clear and simple landing page where they know exactly what you want them to do. Don't try to sell off the page, especially when you're selling higher priced products and services. Test and measure everything, okay, that you are doing. Split test everything. Follow up, follow up, follow up, and never, ever give up. So that's pretty much it. Who learned something here? I hope you did. And again, put your thoughts into the comment. Oh, g'day. Someone's saying g'day. In my chat here, I only see Facebook users, so I don't know the name of the person, but somebody just gave me a shout out and said g'day. So I'm saying g'day back. I can't see how many people are on here. Hopefully thousands, hopefully not 0. And hopefully you just learn something, because again, I say this is one of the most valuable skill sets that you can develop if you're wanting to become a business consultant. And on that note, I just happen to be doing a training very soon. I'm looking for a few very motivated people that would like to have. Thank you, Andre and Justin. I'm going to be doing another training very soon. Again, the results, they even amaze me. I mean, I just finished training a 60-plus individual and a 72-year-old. And I was hesitant taking them on, but they, they really were motivated and they convinced me that they'd put the effort in. And you know what? Each of them are kicking goals right now. The Daryl, the 60-year-old, I gave him a simple plan to follow. He got 6 clients in 6 days. It's the best anyone's ever done. I told him to stop getting clients because you must deliver on your promises. So if you'd like to talk to me, have a look up the top, the banner. And if you click that, you'll see a link that will get you access to a simple application form. I'm happy to have a chat with you, answer any questions that you have. But if you are ready to renegotiate your future, I kid you not, business consulting is one of the simplest, most lucrative, and personally rewarding careers on the planet. I've grown many 7-figure and 8-figure companies of my own, and I've worked in hundreds of niches helping other people grow theirs, and nothing from a business model perspective I've ever found comes close to consulting. So again, if you want to have a chat to me, I'll put a link in the comments below so you can have a chat to me, or if you hit the banner above, you should be able to get access to my link as well. Hope you learned something, guys. Thank you, Andre, for those kind words, and Justin, mate. Thank you very much, Justin, for that. I'm glad. Look, I do this because I just want to shortcut the learning curve. It took me 15 years before I discovered my first business mentor, and I lost those 15 years where who knows where I'd be now if I had to learn this 15 years earlier. So I'm condensing that knowledge down into a very short time frame for you. All right, gang, it was great hanging out with you. Any questions, leave them in there. I'll get back to you all. Until next Tuesday, I'll see you soon.